Today we're back to burning slash. I'm getting really good at stating the obvious, aren't I? Just now getting the first fire going. It can take a little while to get the first one going, but after we get this one to a certain point, then we can move the fire around and start other fires fairly quickly. When I'm burning slash, instead of hauling all the slash to the fire, I like to bring the fire to the slash so I don't have to haul as much slash. So we'll get this one going, then I'll demonstrate how I do that. While I'm waiting for the first fire to get going, that gives me some time to go around the area and do a little bit of prep work. Now that I have this immediate area around the fire cleaned up, I can move on. We have all this slash down here. Instead of moving all this slash up to the fire, we're just going to move the fire down to the slash. Before I do that, I need to wait for this one to burn down a little bit, actually a little bit. While I'm waiting for that fire to burn down, gives me some time to do a little prep work over here first. And we can start prepping on the other side of the fire. Now it's starting to burn down to the point where we can start moving the fire. The problem we're facing here is it's been really wet for the last month. If things were much drier than they are now, I could just get a shovel full of coals, move that shovel full of coals over to where I want it, and get a fire going from that. But with everything as wet as it is, we need to get a little more serious than that. Actually, before I do this, I should give my fire disclaimer. Fire is hot. Fire can burn you. Fire can burn things. Fire can get away from you and burn things that you don't want it to burn. Fire can cause severe injury or even death. Be very careful with fire. Make sure you follow all fire regulations and recommendations in your area. Do not try any of this yourself. This is all for entertainment purposes, not to be taken as advice or information that's valid for anything. Only listen to government people, because anything else is false information. Again, never do this. This is too dangerous. As the channel's getting bigger, I'm getting more of the keyboard warrior types coming in here. For those kind of people, you have to give disclaimers and spell things out for them. With that out of the way, let's get this fire moved. This intense fire has dried out this ring of woody material around it. Not only is it burning, but it's also dry. If we move these to where we want our fire to be, now that we have a pile of dried out wood here, get a shovel full of these half charred pieces, set that and a bunch of coals on top of the dried pile. I like to use my old wore out shovels for this instead of my good ones. I could just leave this and it'll eventually go, or I could take some dried out fines, put it on top, give it a little jump start. While I'm waiting for this one to take off, I can go do the same thing on the other side of the fire. These half burning pieces, end pieces, are really helpful for that because they're already partly burning. Not only burning, but they're also dry. By the time I have this one ready to stew in its own fireness, this one over here is already flaming up and I can start putting branches on top. Since I already got what I needed out of the original fire, I can bunch it all together so it can continue burning. This other one's starting to go well enough that I can start piling. This is how wet some of this material is. But with that core of dry material, we got a hot enough fire, it's going to have no problem burning it. Now that we got this one to a point where it'll burn for a while on its own, we can go tend to the other one we just built, which is already getting well established. While we let this one catch up, we'll go tend to the other one for a while. It's getting to be a good hot fire. Now I can start piling this really wet stuff on it. That takes care of the area around this fire. All cleaned up around here. Now we can go see what the other fire's up to. It's already burned a hole in itself. Looks like it's ready for more fuel. Get close to finishing up this spot. Should get another fire going over here. Instead of bringing all this material down to the fire, we'll bring the fire up to this material. What's left of this original fire doesn't have the dried ring around it, but it has all this half-burned wood. These half-burned pieces, now that they're together, will start taking off by themselves. But just to give it a boost, we'll go down to fire number 2. It does have this ring of fine dried material around it. That'll give it something good to chew on once it starts going. Now we'll go put dying fire number 1 out of its misery. There's not much left of it. We'll put these over on fire number 2. I just did something with this fire that some people would not be happy with, but my microphone kept cutting out and the audio was lost. The keyboard warriors would definitely not be happy with what I just did. They would probably say something like, "That's how forest fires get started." And in a lot of cases, they'd be right. What I just did is not something most people should do in a lot of cases. What I did is I spread out all the coals and the ashes all around the fire. The reason I do that, if you leave the coals in one spot, they'll just keep burning there for hours, sometimes days if it's big enough of a pile. What that does is it bakes and sterilizes the soil. It kills the shallow roots underneath. You end up with a sterilized spot. These nutrient-rich ashes, when it rains, it'll wash into that sterilized spot where the vegetation can't take advantage of it. If you spread it around, it'll soak into where there are roots, where the plants can take advantage of all the nutrients. Also, the coals, when you spread them out, they'll just go out. You'll end up with what they call biochar, unburned carbon, which has supposed soil building characteristics. By doing that, you retain the carbon and the char, you spread out the nutrients. Instead of this being a barren spot, now this spring, grasses and forbs will be able to grow up through here because they were not killed, because we spread the coals around. But that can be very dangerous. That can start a forest fire. The reason I can get away from doing that is everything is soaked. This is the time of the year here when we don't have forest fires. Wildfire season doesn't start until usually May or June. It's the 1st of February. We have months of rain that's going to happen before these could ever start a forest fire. Only do this if you really know what you're doing. And only do this if conditions are safe to do this. If you don't absolutely know when that is, don't do this. Just let the fire burn down. Actually, never mind anything I say. Do whatever your local safety people do. Now to put this fire to sleep. Fire number 2, I'm not going to need this ring to start another fire. We'll just bunch it up. Fire number 4 is ready for some attention. Looked like there was a thing in front of the camera. Hopefully that didn't bother anybody too much. I'm not going to make any more fires today. This will be enough. We'll let these ones wind down, then we'll put them out of their misery. While we're doing that, we can take care of some of this larger woody material. This oak, I could use it for firewood, but it's so small and so scattered, it's hardly worth messing with. We'll just put it down here in the gully. It'll serve as a little bit of erosion control, make some habitat for frogs and newts, salamanders, lizards, whoever wants to live between these logs. I'm sure they will appreciate it. These black oak logs would make some really good firewood, but again, they're just scattered and small. It's good to leave some woody material on the forest floor to rot. Now fire number 2 is ready to be put out of its misery. Spread those coals around. Remember, do not do this at home or wherever you might be doing this. This is how forest fires get started. Unless you really know what you're doing. In this situation, everything here is soaking wet, and it's likely to be that way for the next few months. I've also used a rake to do this. A rake actually works really well. For moving the fires around, a pitchfork would actually be good for that. But I brought a shovel today because I had to hike in a little ways, and I think a shovel is a more versatile tool that's able to do everything I wanted to do today. Fire number 4 is about ready to be spread around. I probably really shouldn't be doing this on video. The reason I decided to actually demonstrate this is because I've had several people ask me what to do about the situation where you have a fire and then sometimes for years later you have this black ring of dead. Nothing seems to want to grow there. Well, this is what I do about that. I rake the coals out so it doesn't bake that spot. When we get into spring, the green stuff's still going to come up here like everywhere else. Maybe slightly less, but it'll still be there. Oh boy, I'm going to start a forest fire doing this. Over 100 years ago, when we started putting all wildfires out, periodic fires would come through these areas and they would leave behind ash and char, which became a natural part of the soil. We took that away, but doing this, it puts some of that ash and char back into the soil. And I'm in the type of spot where if this fire did start creeping around for the next couple days until it starts raining again, that actually wouldn't be a bad thing. If a fire started creeping around here, that would actually be more of a good thing than a bad thing. But unfortunately, that's not going to happen because everything is so wet. We got all this area cleaned up today. I'll probably let all this fresh green material dry out more before I burn it. If I'm doing this by myself, not shooting video, I like to have about 3 fires going at the same time. It's enough to keep me busy, and if I have multiple fires to feed, I don't have the problem of any one fire getting too big and scorching the trees around it. If I was going to spend the whole day doing this and keep going, I would just keep leapfrogging one fire to another, bringing the fires to the slash instead of bringing all the slash to the fire. If you do spend a whole day doing this, you should have no problem going to sleep that night. But I'm going to end it here for today. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.